Hello, and thank you for taking some time to visit our website at acomhealth.com. Hopefully you've been able to navigate through it and find some of the resources we have available to you, and ultimately that it's answered some questions you possibly have about our solution. This particular video is designed to help you understand really what we believe sets us apart from most of the other programs in the industry. Implementation of medical necessity is really a fundamental aspect of your practice. I believe at some point you've attended some type of seminar, you've attended a webinar, or some type of event that's explained to you what medical necessity is. I know I put on a number of different webinars and seminars throughout the industry. I have colleagues out there that are doing the very same thing. So the concept of medical necessity can't be a new one to you, but taking that information and actually implementing it into your practice, that actually is where the issue really lies. And we believe that's where ACOM Health has really led the pack at learning how to implement different aspects into your practice. I want to give you a better understanding of who we are as a company, and then again what sets our program apart. Our company is really special because of the experience of the people on staff. My name is Baron Hoig. I am the Chief Consultant for ACOM Health, and I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been working in the chiropractic field for just under 12 years. I've been teaching the concept of coding and documentation for just around 9 years. I visited hundreds of chiropractic offices. Part of what we do as a company is we visit actual offices, and we work and we learn about what you're going through every day rather than assuming that we know. We have a staff of 4 licensed chiropractors. So we really take this idea of experience. I am personally certified as a healthcare compliance officer. I've authored a number of articles in magazines, and I've been an expert witness in a number of cases where the issue of medical necessity is really at hand. So we take all of this experience that we have as a company, and we've put that into a product. Because the issue that I see in most softwares out there is they do a great job of actually just giving you information. They make the information you put into it very pretty as it prints out on a piece of paper, makes it legible, looks organized, and they almost function under this premise that more is better. If you give them a lot of information, they're going to leave you alone. And there may have been a period of time that worked. But we really have to start understanding what it is they're looking for. As a company, ACOM Health has chosen to follow the standard of Medicare. I personally have researched for years trying to find some type of standard that chiropractors can follow so they have more confidence that they're protected in this concept of medical necessity. The only thing I have found that is clear on what they expect in your documentation is Medicare. The other side of it is Medicare is actually perceived as an authority in healthcare as a whole. So not only does it tell us clearly what we need to document, but it's also an authority that most other payers and insurance companies and states will actually acknowledge as an authority. So our program is built around these particular guidelines. And if you've never had the opportunity to listen to one of my classes, on your screen you're seeing that there's 2 parts to medical necessity. There's your treatment plan and your SOAP notes, and they're both very pivotal to proving the concept of medical necessity. And I'm not going to go through each of them right now, but you can see it's very clear on what they want in each of these particular items in this process of medical necessity. So it's not just throwing a bunch of information on a piece of paper, rather it's having the key elements that together can tell the story of medical necessity. That's again what sets Rapid apart. We have built this program to help you implement and meet these particular pieces of the pie so that you can have confidence that you're meeting medical necessity. So I talked about kind of what medical necessity is. I want to show you how our program does it. And I think you're going to find that it's very unique in its approach to be able to help you meet that criteria. So I'm pulling up the program here, and let's say your patient comes in. And again, remember, you have to hit these elements on every single patient all through the day. And this is really where the issue lies with most programs, is the implementation, having the confidence that you're meeting those elements. Now, what we have done is we have created a method of hitting the key elements. Our program is going to guide you through hitting those elements. So let's say your patient's in your room. If you use our solution, you're going to have a kiosk in your waiting room that's actually going to capture all of the subjective findings. So that's not going to be your responsibility anymore. You can verify them, check them, make sure they're accurate. You have the ability to change them if necessary, but it really speeds up getting right into the care of the patient. So let's say a patient comes in and I want to document that they have myospasms. I want you to watch what our program does. So I simply click myospasms, and then it's going to bring up this muscle chart. And let's say I have some myospasms in the trapezius musculature and the teres minor. Now it's going to ask me if this is increased, decreased, or remain unchanged since the last visit, which is why our program is unique. Medicare requires that in your objective findings every single visit, you're telling me how that finding is the same or different since last visit. So our program, without you even having to click anything, just intelligently knows that you've got to give me that answer. So I'm going to say that it increased. And now let's say I want to document my tenderness. So I have tenderness in the low back and in the mid back. And then again, it's automatically going to ask me if it's changed at all. I'm going to say it remained unchanged. And then I'm going to go through and let's say I get to my treatment. And this is really the power of it. Let's say I want to perform some therapeutic exercises in my office. Because we know what these codes are required through CPT and through Medicare documentation guidelines, we've programmed the computer to make sure it's asking you the right questions so you don't have to remember as the user. So it says I did therapeutic exercises and they were performed to the low back. It's going to ask me how I did it. And part of our implementation process of customizing this program to your office, we're going to populate these fields with the different types of things you have in your office. So let's say you're a CBP practitioner or a pedibond and you do a wobble chair or you do head weighting. We can actually populate those fields for you so that it has the specific language of your particular practice. But again, I'm just going to say I did free range of motion stretching. Well, we also know this particular code requires a unit basis, meaning that if we bill it, it needs 15 minutes. And so if it's a unit-based code, we're going to make sure that we're documenting how long we did it. So now I'm going to say I did it for 10 minutes. So now that quickly going through there, it's going to say therapeutic exercises were performed to the low back by way of range of motion and stretching, and we did it for 10 minutes. So you can see our program is built to make sure it's hitting the elements that are needed, both of the particular code, but also of the documentation requirements of Medicare. You're going to find the same thing in our recommendations tab. So let's say I'm going to go in and I'm going to have my care plan, and I want to support the manipulation. So you're going to see here that chiropractic manipulation is going to be due in these areas. So I'm going to say mid-back and neck. All right, and then it's going to come in and how long am I going to do this particular treatment? So I'm going to say I'm going to do it for 12 visits. All right, so if you look here at what this paragraph actually says, you can see it says chiropractic manipulative treatment will be administered due to the finding of mid-back and neck segmental dysfunction. This is to influence joint and neurophysiological function and will be treated for the next 12 visits and then we'll reevaluate. So we've got the language programmed into the computer and into the program so that it speaks the same language that Medicare looks for. So you see, knowing what the guideline is and then building your program around it really does give you a leg up when you're trying to have this confidence of medical necessity. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to our program, and that's not the purpose of this particular video. The purpose is to give you a better, solid understanding that you need to not only have good-looking documentation, you need to make sure that the software is going to help you and guide you to hit the particular elements you need to hit. Now, I'm going to encourage you, when you complete this video, to come back to the website and go to this show and tell demos. And I want you to click that button, and that's going to take you to a short form that's going to go to one of our associates that's going to help you understand really the magnitude of what our program can do. We believe we have really created a neat way of customizing our program so the implementation in your practice is not only as effortless as possible, but ultimately gives you that true sense of confidence so that you know that your documentation is following some kind of standard. So I hope this has been of some value to you. I encourage you to continue to look through our website. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us. We're here to help you have more confidence and to achieve your personal and professional goals in your practice. So if we have the opportunity of doing that, we sure look forward to doing so. I wish you the best. God bless, and we look forward to talking to you at some point. Be well.